Hey, what's going on, Fit Fam? KC here, and I had a great conversation with my daughter last night, and there was a lot of takeaways from that I was like, oh man, this might be a great video to do for our members and for our community. So, if you don't know, my family is heavily involved in jiu-jitsu. Okay, my kids have been doing it a long time. My wife actually just started. We're very excited for her and her journey. And so last night, I'm talking to my daughter who's really good at jiu-jitsu. Okay. Now, so in jiu-jitsu, we call it your game. It's like her go-to moves. And she wins a lot of the time. But here's what's happening is in practice, the kids she practices with all the time, and they get to see her game all the time, and they know what she's going to do. They're starting to catch on, and they're starting to give her a lot of trouble, and in certain cases, they're winning. And that's hard for her to deal with. And I'm trying to explain to her that the name of the game is not to be the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in practice. It's to be the best martial artist overall, the best martial artist you can be. So to stay in your wheelhouse and only do the things you're good at limits you long term. Like right now you might be winning, but over time those other kids are going to evolve and they're going to know what you're going to do and they're going to end up passing you by. So you need to constantly be adding to your game. I call it your toolbox, the things you're really good at. So you need to be adding new tools to your toolbox. And unfortunately, when you do that, you lose a lot, especially in practice. The idea is you try new things constantly, and you're not going to be good at them. You're not going to be good at them at all. And people you normally would beat if you were doing what you're really good at are now going to be beating you because you're trying new things and you're trying things you're not good at. And the idea is the more you try them, the better you get. And then all of a sudden, that becomes a part of your overall game. So I hope you're following with this. And I hope you see where I'm about to go with this. Because, unfortunately, we all have an ego. And that's really tough to do. It's really tough to get outside your comfort zone. And you know what? I'm really good at this, but now I want to add this to it, and there's going to be this learning curve where I'm getting my butt kicked left and right, and it's hard to stay positive on that. It's hard to just put my head down and get through it, and just knowing that down the road, like this is only a small piece of the journey. This is only a small step in the journey. But overall, I'm going to be able to look back and be like, oh my God, that was like a blip in time. But now look at me. So we just started 2021, right? And everyone has goals. Hopefully everyone has goals. And a lot of time, the stat goes that most people abandon those goals by March. Like 94%. And the reason that is we don't like getting uncomfortable. We like staying in our little wheelhouse where we're good at these certain things. And the minute we venture out of our wheelhouse and realize we're not good at something, we go right back. And then guess what? 2021 looks exactly like 2020, which looked exactly like 2019. And we are the same person. But unfortunately, not everyone around us is the same person. So we watch people grow. We watch somebody, especially when we're younger, we watch people who had a part-time job doing something, and then all of a sudden, ends up now they're making great money as, and they're a manager, or they have their own business doing this because they were growing while we were maybe being stagnant. So this is what I try to get across to people, because unfortunately a lot of people get very frustrated with fitness, and they get a lot, or they go into it not realizing how tough it's going to be. And I just want to go over that real quick. So one of the things I say immediately when I hear that, when a new person comes in and they exercise with us, and I say, hey, how'd it go? And they're like, oh my God, that was so tough, man. And then that's all good until they start going negative on themselves. Like, man, I'm so bad. Like, that's when I step in and I try to change the conversation and get them to give themselves a little more slack, a little more leeway. Now, here's the thing. So what I normally say is this. I say, do you know how to play the piano? And if they say yes, I pick another instrument. Most of the time, they say no. I say, okay. So if I put a piano right here in front of us and ask you to play it, we both know what the outcome's going to be, right? It's not going to be good. But we both know that going in. And there's no you're not thinking you're going to come in here and start playing chopsticks. You're going to say like, man, I'm going to try to make a beat here, but I'm not good, I'm not good at this. So there's no expectations. Why would you think fitness is any different, especially when you haven't done it for 20 years? What? That's the thing that I want to get across to people is like, look, you haven't done a push, you haven't tried to do a push-up in 20 years. Why do you think that's going to be easy? And then why do you get down on yourself when it's not easy? You haven't done it. You haven't tried it. There's going to be a learning curve. So what I try to get people to focus on is how hard certain things are. Like, man, I didn't realize push-ups were going to be that hard. Okay, let's work at it. Because here's the thing, guys. Like I said, for whatever reason, when we're kids, we're way more pliable. We're way more apt to jump outside our comfort zone. If not, none of us would be able to read, write, or do arithmetic, right? My kids are young. My son's young. He's learning how to read. You know how frustrated he gets? He's learning how to write his ABCs, puts his B's and D's backwards, and, like P's and Q's back, and he gets frustrated. If he was like, that's it, I'm done, and what? He'll be 25, 30 and not be able to read or write. He's doing the whole, 1 apple plus 2 apples is how many apples? Take away 2 apples. What do you have? If he got frustrated, you know what? I'm done with apples. And that's it. He wouldn't be able to do math. Like, what sort of adult is that going to be? So, for whatever reason, we were able to stay in the pocket longer and fight through these things, and now look at us. All these things that were once hard, these, how many apples is this? What's a capital B and a lowercase b compared to a capital D and a lowercase d? Sam, Bob, mop, map, all these 3-letter words he's learning right now. That's cake to us right now. But it was once really hard. So what I'm trying to get across to you is the stuff, the things that you want to accomplish in 2021 are going to be hard. It's going to take you outside your comfort zone. But I promise you what's going to happen is over time, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, man, I've come so far just putting my head down and keep going. And not shrink back into my comfort zone. So guys, make sure that those wins that you've been getting or you've had are not stopping you from trying to expand, stopping you from evolving or growing. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you in the gym.